Hi everyone, my name is Mark. I'm a first year MS student in English with Digital Humanities at Christ University, Pune, Lavasa. Today we are diving into one of Sigmund Freud's theory, the concept of uncanny. Have you ever felt a weird, unsettling sensation when something familiar feels a bit strange, or a regular place or object makes you feel uncomfortable for no specific reason? That's the uncanny. It shows up in lot of our favorite movies, TV shows, and video games, including the popular novel Battle Royale and the famous game Player Unknown's Battleground, also known as PUBG. In this video, I'll be analyzing Sigmund Freud's theory of the uncanny, explains why these two works feel so eerie and memorable. Let's get started. Before we dive into Battle Royale and PUBG, let's go over what Freud meant by the uncanny. Sigmund Freud, an influential psychologist, described the uncanny as a feeling of discomfort when something familiar suddenly feels disturbingly strange. Let's start with Battle Royale, a novel by Kushin Takami that became an iconic film. If you're not familiar, Battle Royale tells the story of a group of high school students who are forced into a deadly game where they must kill each other until the last one survives. It's a brutal concept, but it's also a fascinating way of the uncanny. Between violent encounters, there are moments of silence where students hide or wait for the next attack. This quiet paired with knowledge of impending danger creates an eerie, uncanny feeling that Freud described as the fear of the unknown and the unseen. In these moments, the students are left alone with their thoughts, knowing that death could be near, which builds an atmosphere of suspense and dread. In Battle Royale, Freud's uncanny shows up in several ways. Familiarity turned deadly, classmates and friends as killers. The students in Battle Royale are forced to kill each other, transforming students who were once familiar and safe into lethal adversaries. This shift from friends to enemy embodies the uncanny, as it takes something known and trusted, your peers, and turns it into a source of terror. The student's ordinary school trip is violently transformed into a deadly battle. The unsettling transformation of a school outing, a place of innocence and friendship, into a survival battleground reflects repressed violence erupting in an otherwise normal environment. The fear of doubling classmates with similar traits. Many students in Battle Royale wear the same uniform and have similar behavior, almost creating a doppelganger effect. Now let's look at PUBG or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PUBG might seem just a fun game, but it also has its share of uncanny elements that keep players on edge. In PUBG, you are dropped onto an island with the goal of being the last one surviving. You might be hiding in an abandoned house or walking through empty fields, but there's an underlying tension because you're constantly in danger, even when things seem to be quiet. Here's where the uncanny shows up. Finding death crates of eliminated players without a trace is eerily uncanny. Eerie sounds without a visible force. PUBG's sound design, like footsteps or distant gunshots, can evoke a feeling of unease, especially when there's no one nearby. This creates a haunted atmosphere in the game, making players feel like they are being watched or being followed. Occasionally, you may encounter players who mimic your exact character, skin, gear, and weapon choices, creating an uncanny double of yourself. Freud's idea of the doppelganger involves confronting a version of yourself in the world, triggering feelings of discomfort and unease. Seeing another character identical to your own, especially in a tense battle, heightens this effect, making you feel as if you are facing a ghostly version of yourself. In PUBG, players always feel the tension of being watched, that there might be a sniper or an hidden enemy around them. The knowledge that you're potentially in someone's sight without knowing where they are taps into the uncanny fear of the unseen but the familiar enemy. So both Battle Royale and PUBG shows us how the uncanny can turn everyday settings like a school or an island into places of horror by simply introducing a sense of distrust or danger. Battle Royale makes us uncomfortable because it corrupts friendship and familiarity. PUBG does the same thing with ordinary places, giving us constant sense of threat, even in silence. So, what about you? Have you ever felt the uncanny in a video game, book, or story? Was there a moment that made something familiar terrifying? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.